Today we'll first talk about prayer. So, now, the whole basis of prayer is that there are levels, or there is a level of life which is higher and more subtle than our present level. And we want to contact that level and ask for help from that level. So, all scriptures try to describe this higher level as God or whatever. But the basic acceptance is that there is something higher and that we can communicate with that and we can ask for help from it. But the problem comes in the language. Because if the higher comes into the lower, it loses a great deal of the essence it is carrying. So it requires a medium, it requires somebody who understands the higher and can put it into the words of the lower. Some teachers have tried to do this and tried to put it in a simple level. But in prayer, we are trying to send something from lower to higher, not to get something from higher to lower. We are trying to say something in words, which something is higher. So, what is it that... Now, in our lower level, the means of communication is language. But at a higher level, language is not understood. So, that is the biggest problem in prayer, that as long as there is language, we cannot enter into that higher dimension. We have to go beyond language. Still, in prayer, we do use a language to convey what we want to say. Now, I'll just draw 4 levels. 4 levels of man, consciousness available to man. The lowest level is what we will call as Sushupti. The second level is what we will call as Swapna. Sleep, dream. The third is Jagrati. Self-consciousness. And the fourth is Turiya, or objective consciousness, or one consciousness. Now, this of course is deep sleep. Now, don't take this as just the dreams of night. We live in this state of dream all 24 hours. We are identified, hypnotized by every event that comes in front of us. Ramdulare Bapu used to say that you want to know what a man does, you go to a movie, put a chair at the screen, and instead of looking at the movie, look at everybody's eyes. And this is what happens to people. They come into life, they are hypnotized by life, they die in that hypnosis. Nobody wakes up for a single minute from this life. So we are all living in this state of dream, or what Gurdjieff calls as identification. Right? So we are all living in this state of dreams, identification. Every moment of our lives, in what we could also call a psychological sleep. Now this is a state of self-consciousness. We just come to it. And this is the state from which we are asking for help from prayer, from this state of Turiya. We are asking for help from this state. We want help in, help can only come to this state. It cannot come to this state. As we are, all our prayers are useless. They cannot do anything. Whether we put 1,000 Bilipatras up to 100 Bilipatras, it doesn't make any difference. All our prayers are useless because we are all living in this state. And as long as there is desire within us, we are hypnotized in this state. Desire that tomorrow will be better. I'll give you an example. One lady, she called me up. Okay, હવે રાજનભાઈ હું તટસ્થ ભાવમાં જીવું છું. મને કંઈ પણ થતું બેન દીકરો ઘરની બહાર જાય છે, અંદર ક્યાંય છે ને કે રસ્તામાં કંઈક ન થવું જોઈએ. એ તો છે. તટસ્થ ભાવ ક્યાં ગયો તમારો? So every moment of our lives we are living in the desire that the next moment will be better. Next moment, and we are not free of this hypnosis. And as long as in that hypnosis we pray, that those prayers have no meaning at all. Because we are asking for help from here, and help from here cannot come over here. It can only come over here. So unless we pray in a different way, our prayers cannot be answered. That doesn't mean you don't go to the mandir and do aarti and all that. Do it, for whatever it is. But as we are, our prayers cannot be answered. It is only in that state of Jagruti that we can communicate with that higher state of Turiya, and from that something can come down to help us. So we are saying that there are 4 levels of consciousness, and to pray we must come into the level called Jagruti. If we pray from the level where we are, called Swapna, our prayers cannot be answered. This is the basic premise which we are coming to. Now, what is the meaning of self-consciousness? Jagruti. What is the meaning of self-consciousness of Jagruti? So, everything depends upon attention. And attention is of 2 kinds, the outgoing and the ingoing. No animal or plant can take its attention inside. Only man can take his attention inside. So, no plant or animal can be self-conscious. An animal eats its food, but it cannot at the same time have the feeling that I am eating my food. It is only eating the food. Similarly, a plant can send out a branch towards the sun, but it is not aware that I am doing this. If I am talking to you right now, at the same time I can be aware that I am talking to you. Right? So this is self-consciousness. And this self-consciousness can only happen if my attention is divided. If my attention is on you and on myself at the same time. I am dividing my attention into 2 parts. This divided attention is a state of self-consciousness. So this state of Jagruti is a state of divided attention. State of Jagruti. Now what happens in this state of divided attention? So, supposing I am looking at you or talking with you, there is one feeling. There is a feeling of myself. So something is coming in through my senses.
when that is coming in through my senses, this feeling of self gives it an extra push. Am I coming across in this? This is self-consciousness. Otherwise what happens is I react. And in that reaction, what has come in through the five senses, I throw it out. This is reaction. But if I am self-conscious, I cannot react. And that what has come in, I give it an extra push. And it goes on a different pathway to something higher. So I am in this state of self-consciousness. Now supposing I am performing any puja. Supposing I am performing any puja. And if I am listening to the mantras which are being said, and I am saying that those mantras, they have a certain vibration, which hit upon certain blockages, like we go for a bypass or something, hit upon certain blockages in my nadis, and where prana is blocked in the nadis, it opens up that prana and that prana starts moving. So, I say that whatever the problems in my life, they are because of blockages in the prana, right? And those problems of mine are solved. That is the basic premise with which I am going about. Supposing we say that you see somebody's horoscope and you say that he has Pitru Dosh. Yes, Pitru Dosh. So the astrologer will ask that in life, do you always feel that you go for an interview, you're on the verge of passing, but something comes in between, and at the last moment it gets... So he'll ask all these kind of questions. Then he'll say that, okay, there's something, that they have their own way of saying it, that somebody in your family may have died early, this, that, and all that. But let us take it as some pattern lying in our subconscious mind, in our unconscious mind. When I'm just about to do something right in my life, that pattern manifests and something happens and, I don't get the job or whatever. Now, can that pattern go away? So supposing I'm doing a puja, that pattern is a blockage of prana somewhere within my subconscious or unconscious structure. So can that pattern go away? So the mantras are being said by whoever is the pujari, but if I am in a state of daydreaming, I am not in a state of one-pointed attention, I am in a state of daydreaming, then those mantras, they will not have the desired effect. Second thing is, if I am listening to the mantras, then the mantras will have a little more effect. But at the same time, if I am in a state of divided attention, then those mantras will not just have the desired effect, but they will be given an extra push, because I am feeling myself at the same time that I am listening or feeling the mantra. So I am feeling two things at the same time. So that mantra is hitting me and I am feeling myself, so I am giving that extra push to the mantra, and the blockage will open. The help will come from the higher thing. And that is why whenever we sit for prayer, it is always very, very important to have two arrows of attention. One on the prayer which is being said, the feeling of the prayer, and one on the person who is reciting the prayer. That is ourselves. See, a prayer is a feedback process. We don't know if anybody else is hearing, but we are hearing it at the same time. We are speaking it and we are hearing it. It is like a circular process, right? So, we say the prayer and at the same time we feel the person who is listening to the prayer. And then this will magnify the effects of the prayer, and we will be in a state of jagrati, in a state of self-consciousness, and what help we are asking for will come. See, God is not interested in helping us. He is least bothered in helping us. We have to keep on ringing His bell. He's not going to open the door so easily. Right? we have to keep on ringing his bell. And Jesus gives this very beautiful example that someone came to someone's house in the middle of the night, a guest, and he was hungry, and the wife tells the husband, we have nothing, so you go to the neighbor and ask for a loaf of bread. So he goes to the neighbor, and the neighbor says, okay, I'm giving it to you, and goes back to sleep. So he waits for some time and comes back, and the wife says that she gets very angry on him that you've not asked properly, go back and ask again. And this process continues till the sixth time. And the sixth time, the neighbor says that now if I don't give him bread, he's not going to allow me to sleep for the rest of the night. So he comes and gives him the bread. Right? So he says God is like this. You have to keep on asking, right? And one day he'll feel if he doesn't, he's not going to allow me to sleep, he'll come and give you the bread. So prayers are not answered so easily as we think they are answered, and definitely not if we are full of desire, because we are in a state of hypnosis, and in that state of hypnosis, from that place from which we are asking, our prayers cannot reach. I think that answers the question of prayer.
So like we're singing a bhajan.
So you're hearing the sound of the bhajan, but feel yourself singing the bhajan. Try to hold two feelings at the same time. That is why we say practice the rhythmic breathing, because in rhythmic breathing I may be reading. So there is one attention on reading, but I have to keep a little attention on the music to breathe with the music. So my attention is automatically divided. Any other question? Okay. Now we'll talk about the pranas today. I just wanted to continue on what we did yesterday. Going to that. Now, yesterday we said that the food we eat it goes into the stomach, from the stomach to the intestines, and the first thing extracted is magnetism. Then the food goes with the blood into the brain, and motor electricity is extracted. Then it goes into the brain and reflex electricity is extracted. And it goes then down and sex energy is extracted. So this is the common truth, what happens with everyone with the food we eat. This we went into yesterday. Now, at the same time, some other things are extracted that is in the subtle body. There are three kinds of motor electricity extracted. These are prana, apana, sama. Right? Three kinds of motor electricity extracted. What do they do? What do they do? And does an understanding of these three give us some idea about the food we eat? Now, if I eat food, the food is digested by a prana called sama. So this one, it digests food. Now once the food is digested, this prana takes the food to the whole body. It takes nourishment to every part of the body. And once the nourishment is taken, the waste matter is eliminated by apana. These three have these three functions. So we eat food. Food is digested by samana, right? Food is taken to all parts of the body, every cell of the body by prana, and then the waste matter is taken out by apana. And these three have 8-hour periods of working. 8-hour periods of working. So this will work from 12 to 8. This will work from 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. and this will work from 4 a.m. to 12 p.m. Okay? Now, yoga says, this is not Ayurveda, we are not talking about Ayurveda, just talking about yoga. And yoga says that any disease comes in the body if these pranas overlap each other. And a lot of the Western, what you call dietitians, have taken this from the old yoga books. So that means that we should eat our food between 12 and 8. Between 12 and 8. But the food remains for 3 to 4 hours in the stomach. So we should eat one meal between 12 and 4. Between 12 and 4. Otherwise, if we eat after that, then prana will overlap with samana. Right? If we eat early in the morning, then apana, which wants to take all the waste matter out of the body from 4 in the morning onwards, right, will again clash with prana. So, you see? So if I eat an early breakfast, then samana has to start working to digest the food. But this is the time when apana wants to take out all the waste matter from the body. So this is how this cycle of prana works. Of course, we don't follow it. This is just for information. Now, the other two pranas, of course, reflex is vyam. I won't go into it today. And the sex energy is udana. I won't go into these two, but I just wanted to talk on these three pranas. Like there are pranas in the body, there are also vayus in the body, but vayus are more subtle than prana, and their functions are very, very subtle. I won't go into them because it has everything to do with I see you, how you come in, what brings you in, what controls my memory and all that. So we'll talk about it some other day. But I just wanted to give you a broad outline of the three pranas and how these three pranas work in a 24-hour cycle. Any other questions anyone has? Otherwise I'll take something else. Yeah.
Just related to that, there's talk about, from a diet perspective, you must eat according to your blood group. Is that correct?
That is something which I wouldn't know. I'm not an expert in what do you call that. But according to yoga, and my teacher used to follow this. He would say only one meal in 24 hours. Of course, he never even eat one meal in 24 hours. He used to eat only 3 times a week.
He lived on the 6th floor and there was no lift. And if you would phone from down that a patient has come, I brought a patient down, right? He would come from the 6th floor down to meet the patient and go back up, make the medicine, and then you could collect the medicine. So, there was no shortage of energy. And they didn't need to eat. He used to say eating is a nuisance for me. I don't need to eat. But that was his thing. 1 meal in 24 hours. And we followed this for a long time. Now, after I started traveling, things became difficult. But for a long time, we did follow this. 24 hours, 1 meal. And he was very strict in the sense that if you go for a dinner at night to a restaurant or something, the next whole day you cannot eat. You can eat the day after that. But this, I just wanted to give a brief outline that this is something which yoga talks about. Ayurveda also does not talk about this. This is yoga talking about that man needs to have 1 meal in 24 hours and nothing else. Okay. Anything else you would like to talk about? Otherwise, I think so.
You still sustain yourself with water.
What?
You still sustain yourself with water, though.
Yeah, water, and he used to allow us to have tea with very little milk. Tea with very little milk. But no juices, no milk.
For how long did he do the 3 meals per week?
Who?
For how long was he doing the 3 meals per week?
At least I knew him for 6 years. But I'm sure he must have been doing it for years and years before. I was just with him in the last 6 years. In the last 2 years I became very, very close to him. I was the only one with him in the last 2 years. I've always seen it that, to live on the 6th floor, to go up and down so many times a day and not eat anything, and to eat the next day again. And 2 meals I remember were just 3 chapatis and tea. And 1 meal would be a full meal. So he was never short of energy. That is why I used to say this breathing, if you do it, you don't need to eat food. And if you really cut out dinner, it saves a lot of problem at home. One day I'd like to talk about the virus. How? Because it's a very deep subject, the virus. We'll have to talk about Kundalini and what it means and all. I will take one story from the Mahabharata. Now, this is the time when Yudhishthira was made Yuvraj. And Dhritarashtra was the king, but the kingdom had been given to Yudhishthira as the Yuvraj, the crown prince. And he, in 1 year as Yuvraj, he became very popular. So everybody was praising him, and the Kauravas, that is Duryodhana, his brothers, they became very jealous of what was happening. So Shakuni, Duryodhana's mama, he decides on a plan on how to get rid of the Pandavas once and for all. So he says that we will send them to a place called Varna Vrat. And there we will build a house, a palace of lakh for them, Laksha. And we will burn them in that palace of lakh. We will burn them in the palace of lakh. So Duryodhana goes to his father and convinces him to send the Pandavas to Varnavrat for 1 year. He said the king's representative has to go. So the Yuvraj, as the king's representative, should go to Varnavrat for 1 year. Shakuni calls an architect, his name is Purocha, to build this this palace of lack. Now the word Purocha means something that is old. It means all the desires that lie in our unconscious and subconscious mind. Right? And those desires, they get energy. They get energy from this area. This is called the Manipur area. This is the area which always reacts. So that is our Laksha, the palace of lack. On small things we react. Somebody criticizes us, we react. Somebody accuses us of something, we react. Somebody calls us some name, we react. Somebody doesn't come on time, we react. And that reaction from here, the fire comes out. Bhadke bhadke bhadke. Apne badai, bhadke bhadke. So that is the Laksha, that which burns from inside. As long as this Laksha is inside, we cannot take our attention in on the inner path, because the attention will go in a little and some reaction will come and we'll throw everything that we've achieved outside. So he calls Purochan to build this house of lack. Right? The house of lack is our solar plexus area. Right? Now, Purochan builds the house and then they go there to stay. And just as they are leaving, Vidur calls Yudhishthir and he tells something to him in a lower language. The lower language is the language of the Adivasis. The language was Mlech Bhasha. Right? So, what does Vidur represent in us? In all of us, what does Vidur represent? Wisdom comes later in life. As a young child, we don't have wisdom. But as we grow up, we don't have youth, but we have wisdom. This is the contradiction in life, that when we have the energy, we don't have the wisdom, and when we have the wisdom, we don't have the energy. Contradiction. Now, what Vidur represent us? Vidur. Something we have when we are children, but we don't realize it. And we don't realize and we don't use it because our thinking center becomes active very early in life. We teach children to think very early, A, B, C. Right? We don't teach them something beyond thinking. And we want them to know the alphabet and know so many things as early as possible in life. But we have different centers, the thinking center, the emotional center, the moving center, the instinct center, the sex center. Right? Now, one of these centers, when we are born, is fully developed. Like in all animals, it is fully developed. Which is that center? Instinctive center. The instinctive center. See, no bird teaches its younger birds how to build a nest. It is pre-programmed. It is pre-programmed. So, in animals, the instinctive center is very powerful. Now, there is a part of the instinctive center which is a thinking part. It has wisdom. It has wisdom. But in man, it remains covered by thoughts. And that intelligent part of our instinctive center is called Vidur. We call such people who are able to use that, we call them street smart. They are street smart people. Any other kotha such? Street smart people. So, and in every situation in life, they know what to do. They know what to do. They have that inner street smartness. So, Vidur, he is that
lying within all of us, but we are not able to use that street intelligence because we are thinking too much. And he tells Yudhishthir that you be careful, something is wrong in this whole thing. And when they go there, they find that the whole palace is made of wax. And they realize that it can burn at any time. Now, then Vidur sends a craftsman who can dig a tunnel from that palace out. Surang. Palace, a tunnel from that palace out. And it's going to take him 1 year to dig this tunnel. Right? Now the tunnel is from here. If you want to dig a tunnel, the tunnel we have to dig is from here to the heart center. Right? So before we can start any spiritual exercise, because in spirituality we take the attention inside and reactions from here take the attention outside. We have to build a tunnel here. That when the reaction comes, we are able to hide in the tunnel. We are able to hide in the tunnel. We don't become a victim of the reaction. When the reaction calms down, we are okay. Right? So they decide to. Now Purochan is with them all the time. So they decide to go for long walks in the forest with Purochan. So Purochan follows them. Right? Whilst this, this person whom Vidur has sent, he is building the tunnel and Purochan does not know about. Now, the meaning of the word surang is hole in the wall. To make a hole in the wall. Right? To make an opening. Now, after 1 year, the tunnel is ready. And the idea of working with negativity is that we don't want to show anyone that we are working with negativity. Like, supposing I am working on negativity and you insult me and I don't get angry, then I am working with it. But the minute I tell you that I am getting angry, then my self-love becomes, I am not getting angry, then my self-love becomes powerful. So it has to be kept hidden from everyone. So that the Pandavas have escaped from the palace, Duryodhan cannot know. If Duryodhan gets to know, then self-love will eat away. Right? But so we cannot encash it. On this path there is no encashing. We cannot tell anybody that today I am keeping silence, today I am doing puja, I have done this, I have done that. The minute I say I have done this, I have done that, then our ego eats up everything. So it has to be kept hidden from the negative forces. From our own ego, we have to keep it hidden that I did not do this. I am working on it, but I am not showing anyone. Right? So there is this lady, she is an Adivasi, and she with her sons, 5 sons, they are in the palace. Now it's very beautiful in the Mahabharata that all the 5 Pandavas, they go into Vanvas twice. Once after the burning of the palace of lamp, and once after they lose the game of dice. In both the Vanvases, there is one woman with them. In the first Vanvas, their mother is with them, Kunti, Stri Shakti. And the second Vanvas, Draupadi is with them. Right? So, in this Vanvas, Kunti is with them. Kunti means the power to hold, the power to call. Like we said, if you are in a state of Jagruti, you can call something from a higher state. So Kunti is the power to call from a higher. She had the power to invoke the 5 elements, the different gods. She had the power to invoke them. Ku means to call. So after 1 year it's ready and they burn and being burns them. Now if we take the representations of the 5 Pandavas, Yudhishthira will be our thinking center. Arjun will be the emotional center. Nakul will be the instinctive center. Sahadev will be the moving center. Right? And Bhim will be the sex center. That center which gives energy to all the other centers. Right? So Bhim burns the palace. The others have already gone into the tunnel. Right? So till there is transformation of the sex energy, we cannot have victory over reactions. There must be a transformation. Why? Because the sex energy is a victim of excitement. And as long as we are excited about anything, we cannot be free of reaction. So both of these go together. Second thing, Bhim is Vayu. So to transform sex energy, if we use our breathing, then transformation of sex energy becomes very easy. So if we practice the rhythmic breathing, then the sex energy becomes free of excitement. We cannot get excited. Now, so Bhim burns the house of black, they escape, and these five what do you call Adivasis with the mother, they die over there, they are hunters, they die over there. So 6 bodies come. Duryodhana thinks that the Pandavas have died. Initially, when we start our sadhana, it has to be kept very, very secret. We can't tell anyone that we are practicing all this. Because immediately people will praise us. You are doing this, or they'll say something else. And in whichever way, our ego will either expand or contract. And that's the end of the sadhana. Now they escape from the palace. And that is why in the exercises, the first exercise we do is chest breathe. That is make the tunnel. The second is burn the house of lack. Do the second exercise. Burn the house of lack. House of lack is burnt. Then you go lower the Swadhisthana chakra, Jal Tattva. So now they escape from the house of lack, the palace of lack. They go into the jungle and they cross the Ganga. This crossing of the Ganga is very symbolic. Now Duryodhana cannot touch them any longer. They have crossed over. It's very symbolic. Here, so Vyasji gives a beautiful what do you call this thing of the boat in which they cross, and they say the boat it was as fast as the mind, and its fuel was the breath, was the wind, was the power. Its fuel was the power, and it moved as fast as the mind. So he's talking about something related to breathing in transforming the Swadhisthana chakra away. Now once they were across, they could not do anything. Now, before that, if we just take the meaning of the word Varna Vrat. Varna means to wear clothes. To wear clothes. What clothes do we wear in life? What clothes do we wear? The essence is worn. And the essence wears the clothes of the personality. The minute the essence is given a name, the name starts wearing clothes. If the name studies, the name gets degrees, the name gets married, the name does everything, the name gets famous, the name has money, the name has possessions. All the clothes are worn by the name, but the essence is not the name. The essence is something totally different. You see? So now, when you call me, insult me, is my name getting insulted or is my essence getting insulted? Name. So it's very significant, this word, Varna Vrat and the palace of lack. That it is situated in that Varna Vrat, in the clothes in which we are wearing. Right? One of the escapades which Krishna does in Gokul is he steals the gopis' clothes. He steals. It's not real stealing of clothes or anything. But he is taking away everything that is false in them. Taking away everything that is false. But with the giving of the name is false. Everything that the name attracts is false. And we wear it as ornaments, varna, clothes. Right? So they escape and they go through, they cross the river Ganga and they enter into a one called Hidden One. Hidden One. And this forest belongs to this Rakshas, this demon called Hidden. The word Hidden means Antrikshma Udnari Shakti, that power which can fly in the sky. That is with the power of our thoughts. No, the power of imagination. The power of imagination. Hidden. Right? Now, he is a Rakshas who eats human blood. He wants to eat human flesh and blood. Right? So when do we eat our own flesh and blood? When we worry, and jyare aapko jeev pade. Jeev pade. Right? When we worry, chinta and jeev pade. That time we are eating, and in chinta what is there? There is negative imagination. Negative imagination. And એમાં વધારે જીવ પડે. અરે આમ થઈ ગયું હશે, તેમ થઈ ગયું હશે, આમ થઈ ગયું હશે. Right? In chinta. So, this is a Rakshas which eats flesh and blood. Right? So he smells that some humans have come into my forest and he sends his sister Hidimba. In Sanskrit, he means kharekar, truly. Dim means to sound, to make a note of terror. And the sister comes looking for them, but all the Pandavas are sleeping except Bhim, who is keeping watch. The mother Kunti and the 4 brothers have gone to sleep. Bhim is keeping watch. And she sees it and she falls in love with him. Right? Now, we should see here that she has the power of changing her form. The power of changing her. She does not have the power of changing her sex or anything. She is a woman, she remains a woman. But she changes her form and becomes a beautiful girl, and she comes to be and says, my brother is very dangerous, you all please run away. Otherwise he is going to eat all of your love. So Bhim says, I am not frightened of your brother, let him come. Now the word for Bhim used over here is Vrukodar. Udar means cavity, the stomach. Vruk means a wool. A wool, one who can digest anything. The one who can digest. See, there are 2 different Shaktis here in the Udar. 2 different Shaktis. One which makes us feel hungry, and one which digests the food. Many people feel hungry but they can't eat. They can't eat. Right? Now you take this also psychologically. Right? And other people can digest anything. Right? My teacher never used to eat. He used to eat 3 meals a week. But he had the power to digest anything. He had the power to digest anything. So, Vrukodar. Right? Vrukodar. So, Vyas says that he said that I am not frightened, and by then the brother got to know that something had gone wrong. So he comes looking and he sees his sister has fallen in love, and he says, I will kill them. So there is a fight between Bhim and the Rakshas. And Bhim is not playing with him, he is not killing him, he is playing with him. And at that time Arjun gets up. And Arjun tells him the sun is about to set. And if the sun sets, then his energy will become double. He is nocturnal, his strength will become double. So you kill him immediately. So Bhim kills him immediately. It's important because after Sandhya, he's saying the power of depression, the power of negative forces increases. Right? So, if you say Arjuna is the emotional center, then it is hope, the power of Asha, that tomorrow will be good. And Bhim is Pran, the Vayu. And Pran and Asha, they kill the Rakshas together, even though Arjuna is only giving Sala, advice, he's not taking part in it. Then Bhim marries this Hidimba. So we kill the negative part of imagination and we use the positive part of imagination. We have to marry imagination. And from imagination, visualization is born. When we have to plan anything, we need the power of visualization. An architect needs the power of visualization. Right? So he marries it. But the first step in any sadhana is that we get rid of reaction. Second step is we are free of worrying. Right? And the third step is to harness the power of Kalpana Shakti, which in yoga is called as Dharana Shakti. Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. Dharana Shakti. To harness that power. Then they both get married. And Bhim is allowed to stay with her till she has a child. Then he has to come and join them again. And she has a child very fast, and he is a fully grown child. And his name is Ghatotkach, the power of holding a thought. Ghatotkach, the power of holding a single thought. This Patanjali calls as dharana. Now the imagination power becomes so powerful that it can visualize and create anything. Right? And this power of materialization is Maya Shakti, the power of materialization. And in the war, Ghatotkach is one of the warriors who uses this Maya Shakti against the Kaurava. Right? After leaving here, they go to a place called, they meet Vyasji. And Vyasji tells them to go to a place called Ek Chakra Nagari. And they go to this place called Ek Chakra Nagari. And there they are staying in the house of a Brahman. Now, Brahman means our thinking center. It has nothing to do with the caste Brahman. And because it is Brahman, Brahma, it is a conscious part of our thinking center. Now, because we have been freed of reaction, we are free of worrying and negative imagination. We have now harnessed the power of visualization, and through that power of visualization, we are able to relax in a conscious space in our psychological country. Like we have a physical country, we have a bigger psychological country, but we never see in which space we are. Now we are in a conscious space, in a relaxed space over there. And this space is called as Ek Chakra Nagari. Now they are living in this house of the Brahman as Brahmins. They have taken the guise of, and they are getting their food through Bhiksha. They are getting their food through Bhiksha. And the Bhiksha which comes in, Kunti makes two parts of the Bhiksha. One part she gives to Bhim, and from the other one part the five of them share. That means the food which we eat, 50% goes to make sex energy. The other 50% make the other energies of the body. Now one day the Brahmin's wife is crying and only Bhim and Kunti are in the house. Everybody else has come to ask for Bhiksha. So Kunti asked the Brahmin's wife, why are you crying? And she says that there is this Rakshas out of town where we have to send a child, and my daughter's turn has come. My daughter is only 13 years old and I have to send my daughter to that Rakshas. Otherwise the Rakshas says he'll eat everybody in that town. So we keep on sending him. And the name of this Rakshas is Bakasur. Bakasur is our inner monkey which is doing bak bak all the time. Now the time has come to calm the monkey. We are free of certain things. That this is a very hard job. It takes years of practice to calm this monkey. Right? So the name of this Rakshasa is Bakasur, and Bhim is supposed to go in. So Kunti says that, okay, don't worry, don't send your daughter, my son will go in his place. And Bhim goes. Now the whole town people have gathered a whole cart of food to give to the Rakshas, plus the human sacrifice. Right? So he sits outside the cave of the Rakshas and first eats up all the food. So the food for this inner Rakshas, we must first know what food it eats, and it eats the food of self-love. If you have insulted me, my self-love has been hurt. Then my inner monkey keeps on chattering over time. Right? If the shopkeeper has cheated me of 5 rupees, then I come home and realize that my monkey is chattering over time. Right? If somebody has not come on time, then I am chattering over time. So wherever self is there, I am there, this monkey is chattering over time. So we must first get rid of the food. So we start working on I. God, don't give it food. And then the Rakshas comes and Bhim has a big fight with the Rakshas, right? And he kills the Rakshas. That is the killing of the inner Bhakbhak. Then they leave this Ekchakra Nagari and they go to a place called Gandharva. Now this one is owned by a Gandharva. And the name of this Gandharva is Chitrarath. What is the difference between this inner monologue of the monkey and thoughts? What is the difference? This inner chatter which goes on all the time, and what is the difference between that and thoughts?
The inner chatter, a reaction to something. Inner chatter is a reaction to something.
No, the difference between that and thoughts. The difference. Inner difference. The inner difference.
More about feelings. The one is one way.
All the chatter is in just now, just see, the monkey is chattering in language. It is chattering in language. Thoughts have no language. So, can you understand that before the thought became the language, it was the thought. It was the thought. Now, but we cannot see the thought because the monkey is chattering all the time. Right? And the chatter will be language. Right? But if we calm the monkey, then we'll be able to see the thought. And what will be the thought like? It will be Chitrarath. What do you call a rath or a procession of pictures. So the Gandharva who owns, now we have entered Gandharva 1. We have meditated in our meditation. We have first been free of reactions. We have crossed the Ganga. We are now free of negative imagination. We have transformed the use of imagination into visualization, dharana shakti. And now we've killed the Rakshas called Bakasur, so there is no inner chatter. And we've come to a deeper layer of the mind where there are just pictures, there are just thoughts, but not thoughts in language. Can you see how our thoughts and everyone's thoughts will be common? Will be common, right? Of course, they may differ in places, but in general they will be common. It is only when we make it into language that it becomes Hindu, Muslim, whatever, right? Till then the thoughts, the pictures are the same. Now this Chitrarath Gandharva, he tells them that this is my one and without my permission nobody can enter this one. And so now you all will have to die at my hands. So he and Arjun enter into a youth, and he is using Maya Shakti, right? But Arjun's attention is absolutely one-pointed, right? And they have this fight, and in the fight Arjun defeats him, and he's on the verge of killing him. When his wife comes to Kunti and says that please tell your son not to kill my husband, she asks for his life, right? So she asks for his life, and they spare his life, and he says, now in return I'll teach Arjun a special vidya, Chaksusi vidya, the power of sending a thought somewhere else. Now, we do not have within us Sankalp Shakti, we have only Vichar Shakti, because there are so many thoughts inside. When the thoughts calm down, all the Shakti becomes Sankalp Shakti, it's Chaksusi vidya. Right? So, he teaches that to Arjun, and he gives them a piece of advice that please keep a Brahmin, a Pujari with you wherever you all go, and later on they do get a Pujari. So from here the Pandavas then go to Draupadi Swayamvar. From here they go to Draupadi Swayamvar. Now, Draupadi has been born through Yagna. She has come through the fire of Tapa, right? So she is not just an ordinary person. Now, if we take the 5 Pandavas as the 5 lower chakras, Mooladhara as Sahadev, Swadhisthana as Nakul, Manipur as Arjun, Anahat as Bhim, Vishuddhi as Yudhishthira. Then that energy which marries the 5 chakras is called Kundalini Shakti. That energy which marries the 5 chakras, and it rises in the 5 chakras. And that energy, it has one end is here in the hands of Krishna, and the energy, the other end is in the hands of excitement. Because that energy, if it is excitement, if we are excited in life, we lose it. Right? It is in the hands of excitement. The hands of excitement are Dushasa. Right? So that energy has tools. But till we are free of these things, free of reaction, free of negative imagination, conscious use of imagination, calm the monkey, being able to harness the power of thought, the Pandavas are not yet ready to marry Draupadi. Till then we cannot work with the Kundalini energy. Then they are ready to marry Draupadi. So then they go to Draupadi's Swayamvar. The Swayamvar happens. So I thought I'd just take this one story. Whom do they meet in the Swayamvar? Who sees them for the first time in the Swayamvar? Krishna. Krishna has never met the Pandavas. They are his cousins, but he's never met them. And for the first time, he recognizes them. The minute he sees them, he tells Balaram that these are not 5 Brahmins, these are the 5 Pandavas. So he recognizes them immediately. From that point, the friendship between Arjuna and Krishna starts. So not only do they go, they are ready to meet Draupadi, but if we can do so much in our life, then the inner Guru will come to meet us. Not the outer Guru, the inner Guru will come to meet us. I'll stop there. Yeah? Any questions? Anyone? What do you want to do tomorrow? Tomorrow is the last day. Tomorrow is the last day.
Yeah, Mama, you said you
Time.
take time.
Huh?
You said we'll take time.
Time.
Easy enough time.
Okay.
So you briefly talk about marriage tomorrow.
I don't know whether you like it.
No, And secondly is just that we have a lot of youth which are commit suicide actually. So I don't know if you can.
What?
Suicide on youth.
What?
The youngsters
Yeah.
are dying because of not able to withstand all the changes in the world. And the reason for that, how can we sort of overcome those children to change their mind?
You talk about children. We keep time for some other time. Time is a very, very dry subject. Let's see, tomorrow I'll keep this in mind. Male attention, female attention, and what marriage means.
That's right.
And something of
What the youth,
how to actually.
studies and how they can sort of.
What shall we do today? Another story? The most important thing for anyone who wants to walk on the spiritual path is purification of the emotional self. The most important step. And it takes years to purify the emotional center. The emotional center is totally filled with love of self. And self-love, to break self-love, it is the biggest step, because then what remains, if self dissolves, then what remains is love. Till the self dissolves, whatever love we experience is more or less self-love. So, what is the key to purification? What would be the key? What do we spend our whole lives doing? What do we spend our whole lives doing? Running away from pain. Running away from pain. We all cannot take pain, suffering. If somebody near, close to us is suffering, we cannot take suffering. And the key to all purification is suffering. Suffering. So, supposing sadhana is a yajna, and in that yajna we have to give something, we have to pay. So what do we pay by? We pay without suffering. Now, this is very difficult. It's very difficult. Because I'll say my son is ill and I am suffering. And the Guru will say, okay, now pay with your suffering. Because only through suffering can attachment be broken. 20 years later, after 20 years, I will not be there. My son is still going to fall ill. But this suffering, how to pay with suffering? Suffering is the key. So, there is only one real suffering. That why am I still suffering? If that can become our suffering, that
હજી મને દુઃખ કેમ થાય છે? Then real purification will start. અંદર શુદ્ધિકરણની એક યાત્રા ચાલુ થશે. All suffering is due personal. And in personal means I. The I is suffering. And if we can turn that heat on the I, the heat of suffering, we can turn it on the I. એની અંદર જ અહમને આપણે જો મૂકી શકીએ, એ સફરિંગની અગ્નિમાં, એ પીડાની અગ્નિમાં, then there is separation. The I separates from the suffering. અને Mabel Collins has written in her book, she has written a beautiful book, Mabel Collins, called Light on the Path. Beautiful book. Before the eyes can see, they must be incapable of tears. Before the eyes can see, they must be incapable of tears. જો હજી આંખમાં આંસુ આવતા હોય તો આપણી દ્રષ્ટિ ચોખ્ખી, દ્રષ્ટિ હજી ક્લિયર નથી. So to see, you must be free of suffering. So today we will take one story from the Mahabharata, which represents purification of the emotional center. And the emotional center is Arjun. Arjun is the emotional center. Arjun, the word comes from Arji. Arji means to ask, urge, to request. If we go a little deeper in the word, it comes from Ruju, means softness. The emotional center becomes soft, becomes adaptable, softness. So a disciple is always in a state of urji. Hamesha urjina asana hoye. Whenever he is with the Guru, he does not just listen to the Guru. Between the Guru and the disciple, a kind of relationship is formed. He sees the Guru, he feels the Guru, but he listens with all the five senses. પાંચે પાંચ ઇન્દ્રિયોથી હર્ષ અને ગુરુને પીતો હોય છે. He knows that this time with the Guru is short. આટલા જ વર્ષો છે. One day the Guru is going to go. So in that much time, a lot of work has to be done. So everything is important. It is not whether the Guru is teaching the disciple, but just looking at the Guru, reading the paper, having a cup of tea, doing the Guru's work, going and getting his clothes from the laundry, bringing his groceries. All this the disciple does. I remember in the days I was with Ramdulari Bapu from 75 to 82. And whenever I would be in his ashram, he would have tea at 5 o'clock in the morning. First thing I would go and get his tea and take it to his room, just for the opportunity to watch him drinking the tea. It's a joy, it was just a joy watching him drinking tea. So the disciple does not just get jnana from the Guru, he dissolves into the Guru. He drinks the Guru each moment, and there is a transmission between the Guru and the disciple. The Guru pours something into the disciple. So Arjun represents the heart, the emotional center within all of us. And if our heart is in the work, if our heart is in sadhana, then our attention will be one point and we will value our sadhana. So suffering is the key to go through suffering. And for Arjuna, this suffering came at a time when he had just won the hand of Draupadi. So the Pandavas go to Panchal and they win Draupadi's hand, Arjuna wins. So he has won Draupadi's hand, and the irony is that he cannot stay with Draupadi. He has to go on a vanvas for 12
years. It has to go on Vanvas for 12 years. This is the irony. Now it so happened that the Dhritarashtra gave the Pandavas a new kingdom called Indraprastha. It's a beautiful story which we don't have time to go in today, maybe some other time. The name of that place was first Khandava. Khandava means that which is khandit, broken down. Not arable land, dry land, where nothing can grow. Khandava. And from that they made it Indraprastha. They renamed it, they made it Indraprastha. Indra means the 5 senses. Prasthapit. The energy of the 5 senses was prasthapit, established. Our energy of the 5 senses every moment is being seduced by excitement. So we can't hold on to the energy of the 5 senses. So here the 5 Pandavas, they get this kingdom called Indraprastha. It was called Khandava, and it became Indraprastha. The beautiful story of the burning of the Khandava forest. Maybe you can take it some other day. So one day, a Brahmin is shouting outside the palace that somebody has stolen my cows. Somebody has stolen my cows. Now cows go, it represents the 5 senses. So he's saying my attention has been seduced. Attention has been seduced. Our cows are stolen every moment. We go to a supermarket, the cows are stolen. Go to a jewelry store, the cows are stolen. Right? Somebody hurts us, the cows are stolen. Somebody criticizes us, the cows are stolen. So every moment this energy of attention moves out of the 5 senses is stolen. The cows are stolen, he's saying. Now, when the 5 Pandavas married Draupadi, Narad came and made some rules. And the rules were that, one of the rules was that when Draupadi is with one of the brothers in the room, no other brother can go in the room. And if any other brother does go in the room, then he has to go on a 12-year Vanvas. So Draupadi and Yudhishthir were in the room. And this Brahmin was shouting that my cows are stolen. So Arjun wanted to get his bows and arrows, but they were in the same room in which Draupadi and Yudhishthir were. Now, we must understand that the only robbery in life is that of attention. There is no other stealing. All other stealing comes under man-made laws. Supposing I steal some money from your pocket, that is under a man-made law. In spirituality, there is no stealing of money because the money didn't belong to you in the first place. It belongs to some central bank. We are just trustees of that money for some. We live under this illusion that we earn money. And this money belongs to me. But in spirituality, there is only one chori. When Mahavir talks of the Panch Mahavrat, and one of them is a chori, not to steal. Thou shalt not steal. And we think it is stealing of physical possessions. It has nothing to do with physical. Maybe the money has its own mind. Money has its own mind. It knows where it wants to go. It is a she. It is a Shakti. Money is a Shakti. It is a neutralizing force. It is a sattva, neutralizing. It does not do anything. Two people meet and they exchange something. So money, and she does not like to be possessed, but we keep on trying to possess her. She hates to be possessed. So, but attention. If I steal your attention, like I'm stealing right now, I'm stealing your attention. If I steal your attention, then that is called ahanta, self-love. Right? My soul cannot grow with your attention. Your soul can grow with your attention. My soul can only grow with my attention, if my attention goes in.
જો અંદર જાય તો મારો જીવનો વિકાસ થાય. પણ હું તમારું ધ્યાન ખેંચું તો મારો જીવનો વિકાસ ન થાય, અહમ ન થાય. So attention is very important. There's only one stealing, and people love to steal other people's attention. I know so many people. My name has come in the paper. I am so famous. So many people know me. You can ask anybody. I am this kind of a person. Right? So this is all stealing of attention. So the Brahmin is saying that my cows, he's crying outside that my cows are there, and the king is taking tax. He's shouting at Yudhishthira. The king takes tax and is not protecting us. So Arjun does not know what to do, so he goes into the room and he takes the, in which, what you call Draupadi and Yudhishthira were, he takes his weapons, he explains the situation to Yudhishthira, and he follows the robbers and he saves the cows. So then he tells Yudhishthira that now, according to the rule, I have to go into exile. And he has to go into exile for 12 years. So Yudhishthira tries to comfort him and says that, see, that if Draupadi was with any of the other brothers, it is okay, but when she is with me, she becomes your bhabi. And when she is your bhabi, she is like your mother, so you don't have to go into exile. But Arjun said, no, that if I break the rules, then anybody else can also break the rules, so I will have to go into exile. So first he goes to Ganga, the place where Ganga, the source of Ganga, which today we could call Gangotri. And he decides to do a yagna for all his forefathers, for his pitrus. He decides to do a yagna. So he takes an Agnihotra and he puts it on the ground, and he says that he will light the Agnihotra after having a bath in the Ganga, dip in the Ganga. So he goes to have a bath, and when he is doing tarpan in the water, something catches his leg, a hand catches his leg and pulls him deep into the water, and he can't do anything. And it is the daughter of the king of the Nags, Nagaraj. Her name is Ullupi. Ullupi means a creeper, that which wraps around. She had become ekdam calm bush. She had become full of excitement. She was full of passion, excitement. And she takes Arjun down in the water to her father's house. That is the palace of the king of the Nagas in the palace. Now, when Arjun enters that palace, the first thing he sees that Agnihotra which he had left up there on the ground, that Agnihotra is already down here in the palace, in the room in which she takes him, and it is already lit. The Agnihotra. Now, Agni is a symbol of consciousness. Right? Naga is our unconscious mind, where all our deep desires lie. The unconscious mind. All the Nagas are the Ga means to go. Aga means not to go. Na aga means not to go. It's a beautiful word. Naga is a beautiful word. Right? So, something which goes but is giving the feeling of not going. Naga, static. So it is electricity which wants to go but is static, it is held up. So in our unconscious mind is full of these patterns these patterns are called nagas. આપણી બધી વાસનાઓ અને તૃષ્ણાઓ જે deep unconscious ની અંદર ભરેલા હોય નાગ. જે સૌથી ડીપ હોય એને we call them as Pitrus. Pitrus. Right? Now, so she takes him there and she tells him that I'm very attracted to you and you spend one night with me. So he says that no, I am on a vanvas. So in a vanvas I am a brahmacharya. So I cannot, spend one night with you. So she says that your brahmacharya is only limited to Draupadi. It does not you don't have to take into account other women, right? And say, if you don't spend the night with me, I will give up my life. So then Arjun says that, now we have to understand over here that Arjun spends the night with her, but he's not mohavarsh. He's not seduced by excitement or passion. એટલે મોહથી રાત રોકાતો નથી, એક સમજણથી રાત રોકાય છે. So she says that it is the duty of a man, जो स्त्री पूछे मांगे तो आपको पड़े, पीड़ित की मदद करे. So he stays there. Now this is very beautiful in the sense that when we see, if we go into our own unconscious mind, right? And the way to go into the unconscious mind is through Yoga Nidra. Yoga Nidra is the key to go into the unconscious mind. I just talk a little about it, then we'll go back to the story. We don't use our sleep at all. In sleep, so much can happen in one sleep. I'll give you that story which we took last year. Last year we talked on death and we talked on some stories. I'll just repeat that story. Guru Hargobind Sahib was the 6th Guru of the Sikhs. And he had one disciple who was the king of a place called Saket Mandi. And this king had one rule that every year, 1 week to go and spend with the Guru in Amritsar. So, now this year he was going to go to spend 1 week with the king, with the Guru. And before that, every night he was getting a dream in which he was a Chandal, person of a lower caste. So, he's wondering that I am a king, and how am I getting this dream that I am of a lower caste? So, he says, I'll ask the Guru. So then he goes to Amritsar to stay with the Guru. So the first day he sends his man to the Guru, I would like to meet the Guru. So Guru Hargobind Sahib sends back a message that he has no time, he cannot meet this Raja, this king. So next day again he sends his man. Again the same answer comes that the Guru has no time for him. Third day, before he can send his man, the Guru's man comes early in the morning and says, Guru Hargobind Sahib loved to go for shikar. He was fond of hunting, very fond of hunting. So, he says the Guru is going for hunting today. Would you like to join him for shikar? So, he says yes. So then they are going in the forest for shikar, and at one place they both separate. And the Raja is lost. And he sees one river and he's walking along the banks of the river. And then there's one hut over there, there's a jhupri. And there's a Chanda's jhupri. And from that, all the children come crying and running. Our grandfather has come back from the dead. has come back from the dead, and my father has come, and all that. And they would leave me saying, I'm not your husband or your father or grandfather or whatever. I am the king of this place. So they would leave. And after some time the Guru comes. And the Guru comes and they see the Guru and they all bow down to the Guru. And the Guru says, he is not your husband. The one you cremated so many days ago was your husband. He is the Raja. So you let him go. So then they are leaving. So as they are leaving, the Guru asks this Raja that, now do you understand your dream? So he says, no, I don't understand your dream. He says, in this life you were supposed to be born as a Chandra, but through the Guru's grace you were born as a Raja. Right? Then who will fulfill the karma of a Chandra? So in your dream you fulfill the karma of a... It's a beautiful story, whether you see. So, but we don't work with our sleep. We don't make an effort to work with the sleep. And the what do you call the way of working with sleep is through using yoga. So the idea is to get up early in the morning. Now, Yoga Nidra is based on something which we all get in sleep, which is called sleep paralysis. And the Tibetans have done great work on this, and now a lot of Western psychologists have gone very deep into this subject. They've taken everything from Tibet to the West, and they're experimenting. Now, the whole thing is based on sleep paralysis, that we get an attack of sleep paralysis every hour or an hour and a half. That is, if when we go to sleep at night, for the first 5 minutes, the conscious brain is so slowly, suspending itself, that the words which we are forming, the words they stop forming, then the pictures stop forming. Then there are kind of pixels like dots, and then we fall into sleep. And initially we are in a medium level of sleep. And then we go into deep sleep. The first sleep of the night is the most important. Because we are in that deep sleep state for between 40 minutes to 1 hour. And we stay in that sleep. Then we start coming out of deep sleep, we go into medium level sleep. We go into shallow sleep, and instead of waking up, the first dream of the night comes. And that dream lasts for about 5 to 10 minutes. Then this cycle repeats itself. And the next dream, the next, duration of deep sleep would be half an hour or so. And that half an hour which has been cut off from the deep sleep will be added to the dream. So slowly as we wake up towards morning, if we are sleeping in the morning, deep sleep is about 4 to 5 minutes and the dream is much longer. Right? Now in the dream we are in a state of sleep paralysis. That is, we don't move our hands and feet. They are lying on the bed. So if I give you a cup of tea in the dream, you take that cup of tea to drink it, but you don't lift your hand in the bed. The hand is paralyzed. So this sleep paralysis, the Tibetans, they found the whole Tibetan yoga has been built on this, Tibetan dream practices and everything. Now, if we get up in the morning and we do our exercises and everything and go back to sleep after 45 minutes to 1 hour and slowly relax the body, because the sleep paralysis comes after an hour, because the first dream comes after an hour. See, it comes. So we'll go into a state of sleep paralysis. And this is very beautiful. Second thing, early in the morning, because the dream state is much more than the sleep state, sleep paralysis will come very fast. This is something which we should practice, but none of us use this time. Now in the dream, dream, it is not us. It is something which the Western psychologists today call, the dream scientists they call as the dream body. It is not us. Now, can we wake up in the dream? Then something can start. If we know that we are dreaming, then some sadhana can start. Something new can start. This is also a dream, and one day we will wake up from this dream also. But to wake up even from a small dream, and to observe the workings of what is happening in the mind, how the mind creates its own world. The five senses are asleep, still inner senses are seeing, hearing, feeling at the same time. These are different senses. These inner senses are detached from the outer senses. This is the state which Patanjali calls as pratyahara. And we can be watching in that state. But the idea is to wake up in the dream. So the Tibetans had many techniques. One of the really good techniques which I always used was something called the induction technique. And the induction technique, in that what I do is, because this was the old days before we had all these digital watches and all that. So we used to have the alarm where we would give a key to it. It's very difficult to find those alarms. So I would just give 1.5 key to the alarm, and I would put it for 10 minutes after going to sleep in the morning. So morning I would get up, do all my refining exercises and everything, and then do Omkar. Now the beauty of doing mantra is that mantra expands the dream body. It expands the dream body. So when you are experiencing the dream body, it is more vivid. The scenery is more vivid, it is more colorful in the dream. So you keep this clock which is going to just ring only so much. If the whole bell rings, ring, then you will get up. We don't want to get up. We have gone into the state of sleep paralysis. 10 minutes is over and it will just ring, and the dream has already started, and we'll also be halfway here. So we'll hear the ring and we'll be in the dream at the same time, and we'll remember, I am in a dream, and suddenly we will be awake in the dream. The dream will continue, the sleep will not break, and we will be observing our own dream. This is a big step taken. We keep on saying the Gayatri Mantra, Bhu, Bhuva, Swaha, but to be on the wall between Bhulok and Bhuvalok, to sit on the wall. We've heard the bell from outside, that is Bhulok, and we are watching the scenery inside, that is Bhuvalok. Now, this is an experience of something which we are reciting every day. Bhu, Bhuva, Swaha. So, it is in this way that we can take consciousness into the unconscious mind, the subconscious mind, and slowly we go into deeper layers of dreams. Science today can only capture those dreams in which there is rapid eye movement. They can put electrodes and all. But once you leave the state of rapid eye movement, science is not able to say whether there is a dream or not. Shastra talks about different kinds of dreams. Dreams of the physical body, that is, you may have said something to me in the day and I have felt hurt, and I take it out in a dream on you. Then the dreams of the etheric body, that is the dream body. Dream body is the etheric body. And then there are dreams of the astral body, dreams of the mental body, dreams of the causal body. There are dreams of so many bodies. As we go deeper and deeper, the scenery in the dream world changes. The power of the inner observer, Sakshi intensity, the witness, it changes completely. That is why dream yoga is very important. We waste our time. 1/3 of our life we spend sleeping, but we never use that time for it. So, Arjuna has gone into this Naga world. And Naga world is our unconscious mind. And the Agnihotra was already lying over there. That means he has gone consciously into the Naga world. Right? Now, like we said that there are two types of Pitrus. One which you have to get rid of, and one which has to be satisfied. So that unconscious mind is full of unfulfilled desires, vasta, trushna, right? But some we have to get rid of, and some cannot be got rid of. They have to be fulfilled. So Ullupi is such an inner deep desire which has to be fulfilled. And Arjuna fulfills that desire. He goes into the unconscious. Now once he goes into the unconscious mind, that pattern, that pitru which has been fulfilled is dissolved. It doesn't occupy that space any longer. Once it does not occupy that space, something comes with that space. This is called as Siddhi. This is called as Siddhi. So when we do the Jain mantra, we'll say Namo Arihantan, the one who I bow down to the destroyer of enemies. So once you destroy the inner enemies, that empty space, the next step is Namo Siddhana. Those empty spaces are filled by Siddhis. So the next morning Arjuna is leaving and this Ullupi gives him a Siddhi. She says that you spent the night with me, I am very happy, and I give you a Siddhi. And this Siddhi is that no Jalchar Prani, that is, no animal of the water will ever be able to harm you. When you are in the water, no animal from the water will ever be able to harm you, and you will always be victorious. See, these unconscious desires of ours, we don't realize, but they rule our life. We don't know. We go down a street. Why do we see some things and don't see some things? Why do we get some kind of thoughts and don't get some kind? Because everything in us is ruled by these unconscious desires. And now he has taken consciousness into the unconscious, into the deep unconscious. So we don't even know why many times we are thinking about one thing and we are thinking about it so mechanically we don't even realize why we are thinking about it. So some of these patterns have to be fulfilled. So she gives him a vardhan, a boon, that no animal in the water will be able to defeat him. But the boon actually given to him is that he has Vijay. Vijay over Ras Tanmatra. What is Ras Tanmatra? The Tanmatra of taste. The Tanmatra of taste. Right and wrong is an inner taste. Whether I should go on this path or this path, whether I should do this or whether I should do that. It is an inner taste. It is called Vivek. Where he uses this Tanmatra is that when Bhishma is on the bed of arrows, Bhishma asks for water and he pierces the ground with his arrow and gives him water. It is the Vijay over Ras Tanmatra. Between Ullupi and Arjuna, a son is born out of that meeting, and the name of that son is Iravan. The meaning of the word is to satiate your thirst. So when you satiate an old desire inside, some new siddhi is born to you. It also means that now to speak beautiful words, to speak good words. Some of us, our language is not very good. Arjuna, the two great archers in the Mahabharata, Arjuna and Karna, but Karna's language is very offensive language. Arjuna's is a good language. Our vocal tones, what gives color to our vocal tones? It is the ras tanmatra, water element, which gives color to the vocal tones. I say something and you feel happy. So it is that, the tone of the voice. Some people have a very tragic tone. Everything in life is a tragedy. Some people have a self-pity tone that, oh, please look at me, please pay some attention to me, I am so ill, I am so unhappy. So all these tones come from the ras tanmatra. Now from Ganga, again if we look at the chakras, Ganga is the Bindu chakra. The Bindu chakra. The earth also has 7 chakras. Right? Ganga. 4 of them are in India. There is Ganga, that is Kaumuk, the Bindu, Hardwar, Rishikesh, Rameshwaram. One of them is deep in the middle of the earth, so that is in no country. One is in Salzburg in the Austrian Alps. One is in Edinburgh in England. And one is in the, the Rocky Mountains. Most likely it is in place in Canada called as Jasper. These are 7 energy spots of the earth. Now why is Ganga a different river? Why is it a different river? We have time to we'll say 10 minutes more also. Now, in any solar system, for any planet to bear life, there must be one planet like Jupiter. Jupiter is called Guru. And it is Guru which gives magnetism. So, what are we? Our life comes from the sun, the form comes from the planets, and the material comes from the earth. We are a mixture of 3 things: life from the sun, form from the planets, and 80% of form comes from Jupiter. Good. If we could be on Jupiter just now, then what sadhana over here will take 7 years, then will take 7 days. And fast consciousness can move on Jupiter. The vibrations are so high of Guru. It is vibrationally it is the highest planet, even higher than the sun in the whole solar system. I'll go a little deeper into this. We have a physical body which has a life of about 70 years. We have an astral body which we don't really have. Just now we have an emotional body. We don't have a real astral body. We have to make a real astral body. આપણી પાસે અત્યારે લાગણીનું શરીર છે, ભાવ શરીર નથી. લાગણી એટલે જે વસ્તુ જ્યાં ત્યાં ચોટે એને લાગણી કહેવાય. તમે મારા વખાણ કરો તો તમારો શેરનો ભાવ વધી જાય, રાઈટ? એને લાગણી કહેવાય. તમે વખાણ કરો કે અપમાન કરો, અંદર તટસ્થ એને ભાવ. How does not change, right? So we don't, our emotional structure just is made of attachment, lagni. It changes all the time. But once it does not change, it becomes the astral, bhavasha. So we have a physical body, we have an astral body. And if we are lucky, some people build a mental body. And when they build a mental body, it can be seen in certain formation around the neck. That is why some sadhus, they have a certain formation near the neck. And a person who knows can see, okay, this one has built his mental body. Now, just as we have a physical body, astral body and mental body. The planets also want to build a physical body, astral body, mental body. So our Earth today has a physical body, it is building an atmosphere, that is the astral body. The sun is building a mental body. Now, just as in a man, a physical body dies 70 years, the astral body has a life of 500 years, the mental body has a life of 2,500 years. That is why till recently Buddha's mental body was available. It was called as Maitreya. And many experiments were done to bring Buddha's mental body back, but now of course it is destroyed. 2,500 years are over. Now, similarly, a planet like the Earth will have a physical, it will build an astral, one day it will build a mental. One day the physical will die, then in a certain time the astral will die, and what will remain is the mental, and the mental will also die. Like that, there was one star, and that star, the physical died, the astral died, but the mental remained. And Guru is one planet which has aligned with some old mental of some other star. Right? That is why Guru is the representative of consciousness. And it is getting vibrations from something behind it which is very, very powerful. And in Shastra, the connection between that what is behind and Guru is what they call today as the red spot. The red spot is what we call as Shiv Ling. It is these 12 Jyotirlings which give us a connection to that red spot. Right? That is why we go to worship the Jyotirlings. Where did I stop coming to this planet? Right. So from Ganga Dwar, Arjun is now going to Manipur. Manipur.
I think the importance of Ganga, why it's a special river.
Yeah. So, on the earth, that place where the vibrations are the same as Jupiter is Gaur. They are the same vibrations as Jupiter. It is that spot, Bindu, like the solar system has the Bindu chakra in Jupiter, that spot on the earth. That is why the Ganga is a different river. It's a different river. Right? It is starting in something not of this earth. It has an astral source. And that astral source lies in the chakra of the earth. To see the real source of the Ganga, we will have to go into Yoga Nidra and leave the body and go somewhere and see the source of the Ganga. You cannot see the source of the Ganga, just by physically going to go. Thank you. Now I won't forget. So, see, one misnomer is that it is called Hinduism. Hinduism doesn't really mean anything because the British have taken that word from the river Indus. Actually, if anything represents our religion or whatever our culture, it is the Ganga actually. But this word Hindu is a total misnomer. It doesn't fit in anywhere. This word. Some British people, they gave this word. But if what the real mystery of the Indian culture is all represented in one river that is called the Ganga. And if they had to name the religion, they should have named it behind that river. So from here, Arjun goes to the Manipur chakra. He goes to Manipur. That is, and there, the king of Manipur is Chitravahan. We talked about this yesterday. The pictures inside. Manipur is full of all the animal energies. we go to the London Museum, there are 12 paintings on Hercules' 12 tasks. And one of the tasks of Hercules is to clean the Aegean stables. These are the Aegean stables, the Manipur. And he doesn't know how to do it in 24 hours. The time given to him is 24 hours. And the stables are so big. And then he finds a river and he just changes the path of the river and the river cleans the stables. So below the Manipur chakra is Swadhisthana, the river. But just now our Swadhisthana chakra is always going out. If we can turn it inside, then it will clean the stables. Right? He goes to Manipur and there the king is Chitravahan. And there he falls in love with the daughter of the king of Manipur. It's very interesting. He goes on a 12-year vanvas and he keeps on falling in love with and her name is Chitrani. And he goes to the king and he says that I'd like to marry your daughter. And the king says that in our family, every generation has only one child. So I have a daughter and she will have either a son or a daughter. So you can marry her, but she will not leave Manipur and her son will remain here with us. You can't take the son with you. So Arjuna agrees to the condition and he stays there for 3 years and they have a son called Babruvahan. One who is unequaled in prowess. And unequal in the sense that after winning the Mahabharata war, when again Yudhishthir becomes the king of Hastinapur, he decides to have an Ashwamedh yagna. Right? Ashwa represents many things. Ashwa represents time, Ashwa represents the senses, Ashwa represents the emotions. Right? So an Ashwamedh yagna. Right? Where all that is in the body-brain system is now coming to a state of perfection. That is called the not just the going on the horse is just symbolic. Symbolic. Right? So at that time Arjuna is following the horse on the Ashwamedh yagna and the horse comes to this Manipur kingdom and his son is the king, Babruvahan. And he thinks his father is coming, so he goes and he offers the kingdom to his father. But the father gets very angry. What kind of son are you? You don't even have the guts to fight. What kind of Kshatriya are you? So then father and son, they have a battle and Babruvahan defeats Arjuna. He cuts off his head. Arjuna dies. But Ulupi is also there, the one whom he had just left, that Nagkanya. She has this art of Sanjeevani, so she brings Arjuna back to life. So Arjuna stays in Manipur for 3 years. It's very symbolic. That means cleaning of the Manipur chakra. Even though Hercules just did it by changing it will take a period of 3 years. Patanjali has a beautiful sutra. Vitarka, Vichara, Ananda, Asmita, Anugamata, Sampragna. Pragna, knowledge. Sampragna, with knowledge. So Patanjali says that when you walk on the spiritual path, the initial samadhis which we experience, they are with knowledge. Then he goes to samadhi without knowledge, nirvit samadhi, nirvikalp samadhi, right? He goes to, but initially he talks about samadhi with knowledge. And this samadhi with knowledge is of different levels. Vitarka, Vichara, Ananda, Asmita. 4, in some there are 5, Rupa, Anugamata. But we'll take 4 just now. Excuse me. So Vitark, Tarka Vitark, right, is that arguments. But the word argue is a very beautiful word. It actually comes from the English word Latin word argentum. Argentum means silver. Right? Means silver. So, to polish the silver. The word argue means to polish the silver. That is, if you can polish the silver, it is a kind of samadhi. You have come to some understanding. You have come to some samadhi. So, vitar, the samadhi which comes from logical, reasoning, logical thinking. Vichar, Manipur, Chitravaha, the samadhi of the pictures. And then Babruvaha, that which Bru means to pervade, Babruvaha, that when the pictures are calmed down, the space pervades. Between the pictures is the space. So as we are observing the pictures, space. See, if a train is going very fast, we can't see the other platform. But as the pictures slow down, between two pictures we can see the other platform. That Patanjali calls as Anand. There has been, the space has pervaded. Now there is an inner sensitivity of Anand. So, Vitar, samadhi of the logical reasoning, samadhi of Vichar, samadhi of Anand. And to whom is this Anand happening? Samadhi of I, Asmita. That is me, Asmita. To whom is this? Who is feeling joyous? Who was having the thoughts? Who was doing all? What is the sensitivity of the person to whom it is happening? And he calls it as Asmita. 4 levels of samadhi. So now we have come to this samadhi of the pictures. Arjuna has come to Manipur. Rabindranath Tagore has written a beautiful dance drama on this Chitrangad, and it's in Rabindra Sangeet. I have been able to see it once, but if you get a chance, it's worth seeing. From Manipur, he goes to South India. Now, we have 2 kingdoms, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. The southern kingdom is where the sex center is, and that is why it is the kingdom of excitement. The northern kingdom is the kingdom of feeling and thinking. The lower is the kingdom of excitement. I'm reminded of another story. In the Mahabharata, there are 2 friends. One is Dronacharya and one is Drupad. Both the words come from the same root. Dhruv means melted, that which is in melted form. Dronacharya represents all the habits we have within us. All our habits are formed. When a child is born, he does not have any habits. Everything is in melted form. But through acharan, through repetition, through learning, these habits are formed, and slowly all of us become a bundle of habits. Dronacharya. And the other is Drupad. Drupad is the king of Panchal. Again, here Dhru. Here we take the meaning of the word Dhru as fast. Fast. And Pad means one who has fast feet. When we move on the path of sadhana, we must have fast feet, Drupad. And they both grew up together in the ashram, and Drupad had made a promise to Dronacharya, where if any time in life you need any, come to me. His child wanted milk, he couldn't find it, so he goes to Drupad, that you please help me, and Drupad insults him and sends him out of his kingdom. He wants revenge. So then he teaches the Pandavas and Kauravas, and Guru Dakshina, he says, go and defeat Drupad. The Kauravas cannot defeat him, but the Pandavas, under the leadership of Arjuna, defeat him. And then Dronacharya tells Drupad, your kingdom is mine, but I am not like you. And this is very important, because this is typical of the ego. Hu tara jevo nahi. Tara jevo kon thai. These are typical, what do you call, of self-love, of the inner ego. Oh, ganda vakya. What I am trying to say, I am better than you. I am better than you. So, he tells him, I am not like you, but I will give you half the kingdom. But which part does he give him? The southern part. The southern part. Mahabharata is very symbolic, very symbolic. Anyway, here Arjun now goes to southern India, to the south, and he goes to what is called Panch Tirth, 5 Tirths. The 5 Tirtha are Agatsya, the instinctive center, Saubhadra, the emotional center, Paulama, the sensitivity, sensing center, and Karandham, the moving center. So he goes to all these centers, and there, when he goes there, he finds that there are no Brahmins over there. All the Tirtha are desolated, there's no one over there. So he goes to the town to ask, why are no Brahmins looking after the temples over here? Nobody's doing the puja, this thing. So they say that 5 crocodiles are inhabiting these 5 tirthas, and these crocodiles are man-eating crocodiles, right? And so nobody is now visiting these tirthas. So Arjun goes to have a bath at one of the tirthas. Immediately a crocodile catches his leg. But he has that siddhi, which Ulupi had given him, that siddhi, that no jalchar prani can do anything to him, nothing from the water can do anything to him. So he drags the crocodile out of the water. And he drags the crocodile out of the water, and the crocodile becomes a beautiful apsara. Now you see the purification of the emotional center. Up means water. Sar means to glide. The one which glides on water. Sarpa is the one which glides on land. And Apsara is the one which glides on water. Water represents the emotion. Our emotions. Right? So the seas, the rivers, are the water, are the emotional parts of the earth. The astral body of the earth are the seas. That is why when we build dams, we are blocking the prana of the earth, the flow of the prana of the earth. So, now his emotional center has become active. He has gone through all this Manvas, through Manipur, through Ulupi, that he did the Pitru Tarpan, now he's come over here. And the name of this Apsara is Varga. Varga means a class. So she tells him a story. She says that we were 5 Apsaras and we were under the patronage of Kuber. We used to live with Kuber in the Dev Aranya, the Devs. Right? And their names were Saurabhya, Samichi, Budbuda, and Lata and Varga. Right? 4. Now they were of higher this thing, but they were sent into the lower through a curse. Now each one of these will mean different things, because we are talking of sound, that is freeing the sex energy from novelty, memory, fantasy, desire and touch. These are the 5 things which activate our feelings of sex. Novelty, something new. Memory, something which has happened in the past. Fantasy, some dream idea. Desire, somebody says something and desire is born, and somebody touches this. These 5 things activate the sex center, and these are represented by these 5 Apsaras. Well, Apsaras again are of 2 types. One which come to work on our unfulfilled desires. Right? Vishwamitra was sitting in Tapa, and Menka came. So what happened from his unconscious and unfulfilled desire came for passion, right? And the others which come as Vigna. And Menka came as Vigna, also an obstacle. Indra wanted to destroy his Tapa. So these Apsaras are saying that they were going through the forest one day and they saw a beautiful, handsome, young sage. He was doing meditation and his face was shining with tapa. So they decided to throw a Vigna in his meditation. So they decided to entice him by dancing and singing. And so they started dancing and singing over there, and he opened his eyes and he cursed them that they will become crocodiles for 100 years. Now this is very important. When we look at our unconscious mind, the subconscious mind, there are some desires within us which are lurking just below our conscious mind. Something from outside can trigger that desire immediately. It could be anything. Some wind blows and a desire for sex is stimulated. But that desire was just lying in the subconscious mind. So these are different kind of desires are lying there. Right? There's a desire to take revenge. Something, memory comes and it is triggered. So these 5 crocodiles are our own desires which are lying in our subconscious mind. A part of the crocodile is above the water, most of the body is below the water. Some part is in the conscious mind, we don't see it, but if it is triggered, it is seen immediately. Now the minute these desires are triggered, they are like crocodiles, they take away all our attention, all our energy, everything is taken away by them. Now a crocodile is another animal which is very difficult to train. We can't make a friend of a crocodile. But one of the things which people practice in the dream is to have a dream pet, and that can be a crocodile. So if we can see our own lurking crocodiles in our subconscious mind, they will become 5 apsaras for us. That is, lower energy will be transformed into higher energy. Old desires will dissolve and something new, a new kind of perception, a new kind of feeling will be born. So then this Varga pleaded with him that my other 4 sisters are trapped in the pit. You please free them also. So Arjuna goes to the other pits and he frees them. These apsaras, they had been cursed by this rishi, and they asked the rishi that you please lift your curse. He said no. So they went crying, and then they met Narad, and Narad told them that Arjuna is coming here, you go immediately there as crocodiles and you'll be free of the curse. And the Rishi had told them that Arjuna will come and free you of the curse. So these 5 tirthas in the south are now known as Nari Tirthas. Then after freeing the Apsaras, he comes back to Chitrangad, stays there for some time in Manipur, and from there he goes to Prabhas, Patan. And here in Prabhas he meets Shri Krishna. And then Shri Krishna is very happy that they have met. His Tirth Yatra is now going to get over. So they have a celebration. And the celebration is in Girna, Ravan, the celebration. And there are 3 clans of the Yadavs come there. The Yadavs are of 3 clans, right? Krishna was of the Vrushni clan, Kans was of the Bhoj clan, and the Andha, 3 clans. All this is very important. And there, of course, he sees Subhadra for the first time and he falls in. But that is a different story. Right? Let's talk over here. Anything you would like to ask? We still have quite some time.
Rajan bhai, you touched on this issue of Pitrus.
Yeah.
Now, I know at the physical level, people go to certain tirthas to go and do that pujas. What sort of significance does that actually have?
They usually see the horoscope, and in the horoscope, if they say there's Pitru Dosha, they call it. And they go and do the puja. The puja is called Narayana. if you give him shocks, then the brain patterns which are causing that madness, then the patterns of the brain, those patterns change for some time. Right? And he becomes okay. But again in 6 months the brain patterns go back to their original this thing. So he again, so you have 6 months time to work on yourself. The Pitru cannot go by puja. But the puja can rearrange the patterns for some time. Now, how strong is the puja? Like yesterday we talked on how to do the puja. That is, if we do it in a state of divided attention, then the power of the puja is very. Now, when we are talking about these patterns lying in the astral, we are talking about blockages in our nadi structure. So, when the Shastri is reciting some mantra, those mantras have certain vibrations, they are hitting the nadis. And those blockages of prana in the nadis are opening up. Right? But we have already formed a habit of blocking. So in 6 months we are going to block them again. So by doing the puja, you will feel very different after the puja because those vibrations, they have hit the nadis and opened up the blockages temporarily. So then if you work on it and you can be free of that Pitru. Pitru is not somebody who has gone, it is something which is lying in the unconscious mind and it comes out at a certain point in our life where it disturbs it. Right? You and I may be friends, right? We are good friends. But at a certain point I say something which hurts you and then the whole life we are enemies. Now that is the Pitru. He has manifested. And it is just a pattern lying in my unconscious mind. And I have to be free of that pattern. These pujas are help. But the pujas are not the solution. They are not the solution. The solution is work on self. You have to rise to a level of consciousness where you can be free of it. So, like I said, that is the
But you know, what we tend to do is that there are specific places that they recommend that you go. Are there some special energies in these places?
Yes. Because there is a confluence of water. Water represents the emotional part of the earth. Right? And all this is put in stories. All those stories have to be unraveled. Like they say, you go to the banks of the Narmada. So, now the story about the Narmada also there is a story. The story is that Shiv had 2 sons, Ganesh and Kartikeya. We don't have time, otherwise we will take the story of Kartikeya. It's such a beautiful story. Kartikeya. And then he said that no fatherhood is fulfilled without having a daughter. So he said he wanted a daughter. So he had a daughter called Narmada. The story is very beautiful that when Ganga was coming from the heavens, Bhagirath Raja asked Ganga. So then Ganga said, I will come, but who will bear my initial force? So then Bhagirath Raja goes to Shiv and does puja, when you bear. So at the point of Ganga coming down, she tells Shiva that I don't want to come down. Okay? If everybody comes into એટલે મારી અંદર બધાય જો એના પાપ ધોઈ નાખે તો હું પાપ કોનામાં ધોવા જાઉં? If everybody comes and washes their sins in me, then where will I wash my sins? So Shiv says, once in a year you wash your sins in my daughter the Narmada. So that strip where Ganga appears in the Narmada, that strip is a very, what do you call it? Pure strip. And it is at that where they ask you to do these in that strip of water. All this has relevance. The earth has an astral body, the earth has prana, it is the rivers which are the prana. The Ganga is our original river, so the appearance of the Ganga over here, it does have some meaning that at a certain time. And she comes on, I think, Vaishakhi Satam, the Ganga Saptami it is called. So on Ganga Saptami, that is the day she appears. And I have seen this personally because I have gone there to see it, and at that time which she's supposed to appear in the afternoon, you feel that some other water is mixing with her. This is not something coming from the earth, of course, but there's something, some cycle there, but you can see it happening. Now, of course, I'll be still on Ganga Satam. Last 2 years I've been in Cape Town, so I can't have the camp because every year I used to have a camp on the Narmada, on the Ganga Satam. Especially just for this, that the vibrations at the time of the appearance. But now Cape Town is come. Yes, sir.
You mentioned about something about Mala, you have to introduce how to do the Malas.
Oh, Mala. Apne Guruji tamari Mala.
You just touch on shortly on relationship between parents and children. There's a bit of a gap. Age. How could we
The Mala is a reciprocal process. It is not for counting. It is a reciprocal process. I feed something into the Mala feeds something into me. You get it? Okay. So, now what I am feeding in is the energy of sensitivity. But because I am feeding in the energy of sensitivity, she is transforming it and giving it back to me as something else. Now the idea of doing the Mala is that at the time of touching this, I must be able to sense my pulse. So now supposing I am doing any mantra with this, unless I am sensing my pulse at the time of repetition of the mantra, it has no meaning. It is just a mechanical turning of the Mala. So at the time of touching the rosary, because in Christians they have rosary. If I am touching this and I am saying the mantra at the same time, so the mantra is being said, there is a vibration created and I am feeling my pulse at the same time. And in that something is going into the beads of the Mala. Into the beads of the Mala. And it changes the vibration of this bead. Right? Okay. So now I am going in a rotary process. Or in this way, one, two. I'm feeling my pulse and I'm going. Now when I come back to that bead, it is giving back to me what I have fed in. Now just we'll understand the mantra a little bit. There are 3 stages of the mantra. The tonic, the overtone, the harmonic. You see, one mantra is, by saying one mantra, I am saying 3 mantras at the same time. Now, supposing I am saying Omkar. So the tonic is Omkar. So I will say Om, 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 right? I am saying, what is happening before one Om is over, the second is starting. So the vibrations of Omkar are moving like this. You see, in the what a medium called air around me, right? And one set of vibrations is banging with another set of vibrations. So from that they are forming something else called the overtone. Really? So many overtones are, right? But all those overtones are again making one sound called the harmonic. You get it? Supposing there's an orchestra. So each one is playing one instrument. Each one is playing one instrument. But all those instruments together are so many overtones. But to the listener, he's hearing one music. He's hearing one music, the harmonic. The same principle works in mantra. So here with my pulse, I'm filling in the mantra into the bead. I'm filling in the mantra into the bead. That is being rotated. And when it is coming back to me, it is coming back to me in a totally different form. Now we'll take two mantras today. Now when we go into the matrukas of the mantras, the arrangement of the inner science of the mantras, supposing we are seeing the Gayatri over here, then the harmonic will be the Mahamrityunjay. You get it? Now, supposing you have taken a bead, a rosary, and you are filling in this with the Gayatri. So when that bead comes back, what is it giving back to you? You get it? It's a what you call feedback process. You are the sayer, you are filling it in and it is giving back to you. And it is this sensitivity that goes on. It creates a beautiful magnetic field. But now people are using it to count. They've forgotten the science behind the mala. It has nothing to do with counting. God doesn't know what 108 means. So it must be of the right wood also. The bead must be made of the right wood also. Right? Christians make it from the rosewood tree. Right? This is a tulsi mala. We usually have a rudraksh mala. It could be of any kind.
Is the mala, is it only for yourself?
Only for yourself. Only for yourself. But it does have certain effects. It does have certain effects because as you pour your sensitivity and the mantra, because through your sensitivity, the pulse is the energy of sensitivity. So through the energy of sensitivity, second thing, when you're sensing your pulse, your attention has to be one pointed. I can't be dreaming of which movie I'm doing tomorrow and how. It's not possible. I have to be one pointed. So there's this energy of sensitivity. I'm feeling in these vibrations, right? And slowly that mala is becoming more and more powerful. So, then by just wearing that mala, a certain magnetic field will be created. Because now it is not just an ordinary thing. See, he's looking after it. He's looking after it. Nobody's doing it.
The other question is, for receiving the mala itself, there must be, there's some kind of a ritual, what we've been doing from one of the gurus.
No, why?
I'm just asking.
You are potent enough to charge the mala yourself. Why will you get? No guru has the time to charge it and give it to you. But it can be done. I'll tell you, one friend came to meet me a couple of years ago. And you have these Turkish symbols, they call the evil eye, the blue. You've seen it, it's available in all the shops.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, we call Rudra Aksha. angry eye, and there they call it evil eye. It's the same thing. So, I didn't know this person, but we became friends. He was from Turkey, and he was leaving. We spent a few days together, and then he was leaving, and he had a Sufi guru in Turkey. And he said, these are available everywhere in Turkey. And I saw it for the first time. I didn't know what it was. It's called an evil eye. So it struck me that we call it Mudra Aksha, an evil eye. So that in Turkey these are available everywhere, but originally they were Sufi, what do you call, monograms, kind of, so Sufi symbols. And my guru, when he does his mantras, he sits on a box of this. And he very rarely gives it out to anyone. But when I was coming to India, he gave me one and he said, in India you're going to meet somebody special, so you please give this to me. And then he gave that to me. So, but what I'm trying to say is that it is possible that the guru, if he's keeping what you call a bunch of malas with him when he's doing his mantras, when he gives up, then there will be something in those malas. I want to make sure I'm not worn it today, but recently I met one American whom I've got very high regard for him. Very high regard. And his books I've been reading since 1984. I had never met him, I just happened to meet him this last year in America. Now he makes something out of a crystal radio. Now he's on the search, all his disciples, they search for old crystal radios. Because they are outdated now, crystal radio. The first radio was a crystal radio. And out of that crystal radio, he attaches a diode and he makes something. And he sells these very costly. He sells these pendants for $500 each or something. But he gives these pendants sometimes to someone. So I went to meet him and he gave me one of these pendants. I was wearing it, I will show it, I just left it. So, on and off, I've been wearing that since I have met him, and it has an effect. It has a very, very profound effect. So there are gurus who can, but normally I would say I wouldn't much go for, you can do it yourself. What else were you saying?
I was just talking about relationship between myself and my children. When we have this gap, you can give us some kind of guidelines where we don't able to communicate with us.
See, I don't understand that the cycle goes around. The fallacy of the senses is that the senses can see only so much. And this is the biggest jail which we live in. Our physical five senses can only see this and nothing else. So, I only know her as a person with physical form. I don't know her. And what about your son or your child? You only know him or her or as a son or whatever. You don't know them. You get what?
Yes.
As an essence. As an essence. We don't know people as a... We don't realize this, that the son becomes the father becomes the son. It is a continuous cycle. See, form is a very, very deep subject. I can't go into it. Form. Now the form is not the thing. The architect has a form in his mind. The form, to build the house is going to take 3 years. But in his form, the house is already ready. Now, that form, what substance is that form made of? So the form is made of planetary material. That is why I talked about Guru, the planet Jupiter. Right? So it is made of planetary material, the form. So supposing I'm visualizing you in my mind, then there is no material, there is no the 5 elements of the earth are not there, even though it is 5 elements only, but psychological 5 elements. Right? So, but that form is of a very subtle form. It comes from somewhere else. Man is 3 things. Man is life, form and earth. Life from sun, form from planets and earth. It's a mixture of 3 things. Now, we call it putra. Putra. So, the one who redeems the father, Trayate. Who means suffering? Purgatory. Suffering. Purgatory. Puttana. Suffering. Who means suffering? Putrayate iti putra. The one who takes the father beyond suffering is the putra. We don't see all this. Right? So, here, who takes us beyond suffering? Who takes us beyond suffering? The Guru. The Guru. It is the Guru who teaches us to go beyond suffering. But what about our children? Do we treat them with that same respect? No. We don't. We don't. And here is the form. The form is repeating. The matter is not repeating. The you see, don't go by DNA. Form is much higher than DNA. Don't go by DNA. DNA is a physical thing. Form is something of the astral. The form is repeating. There is a repetition of form. So, this is a very deep thing. Right? Something is going to die, but something is going to continue. And there must be that relationship between the father and the son, the father and the daughter, the mother, right? And the most beautiful relationship which can come about is friendship. That you are not the father, because one day again you are going to become the son. And the son is going to become the father. And just because the body is young, you feel that he should fall at my feet and this. And my children told me very early, we will not fall at anyone's feet. Well, straight into. We are not going to fall at anyone's feet. I respect it. Right? And there was this friendship. And when my son got into college, and after 1 month he's phoning me, and he's saying, I like this girl in my class, but how do I approach her? You teach me how to approach her. It's friendship. It should be friendship. The word friendship is also beautiful in Sanskrit. It comes from the word sakha. I'm going where I'm going with all this. Just now we don't feel our own presence. We are sitting over here, but none of us feel that I am present sitting over here. Hajri. Hajri. Presence. The word sakha means to feel 2 presences at the same time. Sahanam chati. That is to feel 2 presences. I am not only feeling my presence, I am feeling somebody else's presence at the same time. We are not conscious of our own presence. The word sakha is beautiful. That is why for Krishna they use the word sakha. All the Vaishnavas, they use the word sakha. Very deep meaning, very, very deep meaning. That to feel 2 presences simultaneously. So, if that relationship can come with our children, then there will be no problem. Second thing is, you see, how did we become parents? Did we become parents through accident? Or did we decide on parent? Nowadays, so many people just become pregnant, it's an accident. Then the very seed has been sown with excitement. You get what? At the the medium through which it was sown was excitement. Now, what was the medium? So, but if you decide 1 year in advance, okay, now we will have only sex for children, not for excitement, then you have already become a parent. The child is not yet come. Parenting has started. And then, if you have the child not through excitement, but through this inner desire to become a father or a mother, then the sowing of the seed, the whole vibrations are there. You see, all this makes. Then we say the child is not listening to this problem and that problem and these problems. But how did we go into parenthood? All this is a science. So my thing is that with children, if we can become friends, with this friendship with the child, then everything else is taken care of. But if we are the father and he is the son. Another thing which I worked on, I never ordered the children. That go bring this for me, do this for me. You see? But when I go in so many homes, people are ordering their children. And they don't realize that many times the child he doesn't like to be ordered. And suddenly he's suppressing something inside. You know, when you're ordering him, he's taking some bitterness, he's suppressing inside. And this is going to explode at some time. So all this, with awareness, everything takes care of itself. And of course, what my guru said, at 7 years, if you teach a child this rhythm, you don't have to teach him anything else. Everything else is taken care of. The breathing comes into rhythm, the child you don't bother about the child, everything will be taken care of by nature for the child. So if you can do that, teach them the rhythmic breathing.
Thanks.
Okay. We have taken too much time today. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Guru Krishna. Actually, the story which you said, it just reminded me of something which was very powerful, which happened when I was with my Guru. And my Guru, I met him when he was 69 years old, and he left when he was 77. When my Guru was about 12 years old, his eldest sister, who was 16, she left the home to search for truth. And she never came back home. And for nearly 50 to 60 years she roamed, stayed in the Himalayas, and she searched from Guru to Guru. She couldn't find truth. She came back to Bombay, and one day when we were in class, somebody must have brought her that here is a person, maybe he can help you realize the truth. And she came to the class, and in the beginning she didn't recognize who was speaking. And when the class was over, she said, "This is my younger brother whom I have not met for 60 years. So she was looking everywhere, all over in the Himalayas, from ashram to ashram for truth. But truth was right in the home where she left. And that is, even though this is a true story, but this is our story too. We keep searching for something which we already have. Now, I was going to talk a little bit on about the Shiv Tattva, which we'll do later on. But before that, because Guruji has said, we will talk about Mother's Day. There is the physical mother and there is the eternal mother. The physical mother gives birth to the physical body. But before the physical body, there was a mother. And that mother is always. And it is our effort, inner effort, that the outer mother whom we are born from, she becomes a symbol for our search for the inner mother. We are not just a physical body. Something decides to take birth. We don't know what that is. We live our whole lives without realizing who we are. We read in the Shastras, we talk about it, we discuss it, but we don't experience it. And I would say Mother's Day is a good opportunity to reflect on who we are. From what source have we come? The physical source, the real source. This mother is given many names. We may call her Gayatri, we may call her anything. But our effort in life is to go back to our source. In the Bible, they have the story of the prodigal son. The son goes out in life, he takes his fortune from his father and he goes out to seek his own fortune. The story goes that he loses all his money. I've changed the story a little. He doesn't lose all his money, he earns a lot of money. And he sees everything that money and fame and life can bring to him, which we are all searching for, our ambitions to know more people, to become more famous, to earn more money, to be more prosperous. All these ambitions, he fulfills all the ambitions we can think of. And at one time he suddenly realizes the uselessness of everything. We don't realize the uselessness of everything. The emptiness of all the money we have. The emptiness in all the people that we know. He realizes suddenly life is so empty. I have everything. And then he says, I want to return to my source. Where did I come from? Not the physical mother and father. The physical mother and father are just an excuse for the birth of the body. But the real mother and father. Is there a source beyond? Can I go to that source? Is there a way to go to that source? And he finds a way and he returns to his father. And this can be our story too. We have wandered away from our source. We call that source as mother, we call her as Ganges, Ganga. Ganga means to sound. That original sport, that original shabda, that original flow of life. What is the source of life? And Ganga represents the river of knowledge which leads to that source of life. The Gyan Ganga which takes us back to where we have come from. And this is the duty of all gurus. They must point out the way to return back to that mother and father. And so we call Ganga the mother. Of course we call our religion Hinduism, but Hinduism is not after the Ganga, it is a British word. It is a British connotation. for people living on the banks of the Indus River. It has nothing to do with religion. But if any river represents the religion, then the Ganga represents the Indian religion. So, is there a way? Can we find our source and to experience that way, to move on that path? Is it necessary to find a guru? Is it necessary to go to an ashram? Is it necessary to leave the normal duties of life? Or is it possible to find it where we are, as we are, by just changing not what we are doing, but the way we are doing? Don't worry, don't worry. Nothing disturbed. It's a pleasure to be disturbed. Where we are in our family life, can we make an effort to find that inner divine? By just living our job, our duties as a householder, not leaving anything, not to go in search of anything, and by making normal life our guru. The guru is there every moment in normal life. Every moment life is teaching. Somebody once told me that in school at least we prepare for the exam, but life first gives the exam, we prepare later. And life, every moment it brings an exam in front of us. And can we mature out of that? Or do we keep on repeating the same things? If we repeat the same things again and again, then we fall into more and more deeper levels of mechanicalness. It is this fight against mechanicalness which is spirituality. The fight, the effort to increase our levels of consciousness. And there is a way in which we can do this just by living our normal lives. The normal friction between husband and wife, the normal problems between father and son, the normal fears the father feels for his daughter. These small things in life can be turned into stepping stones to the path of inner spirituality. And that path leads us to our eternal mother. Today being Mother's Day, let us make this effort. We worship the physical mother, but she is just a door who leads us to our source of where we came from. The second topic, which is how do we pray to statues in the temples? Now, this is not really my subject, not something which I'm very proficient on, or I wouldn't say I would know about, but I'll try to talk about it in a little way. I love classical Renaissance art, and I keep on visiting galleries to wherever I go to see art. So maybe we can talk about what is darshan. There are two kinds of art: subjective art and objective art. Where the artist puts his subjective feeling into a piece of art, whether it is a statue, a piece of sculpture, or a painting on a canvas, then it is subjective art. Anybody who sees that painting or that piece of work, he will have different emotions, different feelings about it. So if 100 people see that same painting, 100 people may have different feelings about it. An objective piece of art is one in which everybody has the same feeling. All Indian temple architecture was objective in nature. As Now time has progressed to these modern times, it has become very, very subjective. I visit temples in the US, and sometimes I see that I see a position where there are 9 grahs in one, they just put them as if they put them in one plate, Come and worship them, take around this thing. There's no science left in the way we put our statues, the way those statues are made. Something has been lost, the objectivity is lost, and it has become a subjectivity, how beautiful they look, how they adorn the temple. So there was an objective art. Once it just happened that my wife and I, we happened to spend a week in Khajuraho. And I'd read the name of one guide in the book. So I went to his home that, will you please spend 1 week with me and I explained the temples to me. So he said that it's my Navratri period, and every year I don't do guide in the Navratri, I don't go taking people out, so I won't be able to do it. So I knew one other friend, I said that okay, I'll go and meet him and maybe he'll help us out. So I was just leaving his place, but he came running outside. Something tells me that I should break my rule for you. Next morning he was explaining to me the temples. And there are Shiv temples, Vishnu temples. And the whole frescoes of Khajuraho are pieces of art in the form of sex. So he's explaining, and then he says, this is Chakra Puja of sex, this is this. I said, wait a minute. If you can't explain it, I'll explain it to you. So I explained everything to him, that in one fresco, what the hands were doing, what the lips were doing, what the body was doing, how astrology was involved, how the meridians was involved, how in one fresco, it was a piece of object. It is perfect from all different angles. This is objective art. He was so shocked that we went back to our hotel to have lunch. When we came back from lunch, there were 4 of his disciples there who were learning how to guide from him. And he says, you learn how to see the temples from this person. How do we observe a statue in a temple? What is the technique of observing? Not that I go to so many temples, but something which we have learned from the Guru. And this goes for every piece of art. Now supposing I look at a window, and when I close my eyes, that image of the window is upside down on the retina. And if I close my eyes in a very relaxed way, I'll be able to see that upside down image. Now this is where we start from. Now the holding of that image inside is what yoga calls as dharana, dharan karu, dharana, the art of holding. So when I'm looking at the statue in a temple, I'm relaxing myself from inside. Even though I'm focusing my attention totally, it's not a tense attention, it is a relaxed attention. I'm focusing on the statue, and at one point I let my eyes fall. I don't close my eyes, I let them fall. And in that falling, I see the statue upside down on the retina of my eye, and I try to hold that. If the work of art is objective, it will bring about definite chemical changes in the body. There will be a specific, that statue has been arranged in such a way to bring about secretions in the endocrine glands, to awaken certain shaktis in certain chakras. It is not just an ordinary statue. There is a scientific way of doing it. We feel that why does the statue have a head of a lion and why does it have a body of something else? But this is a science behind this. And why is it in the shape of a linga? But there is something in that when it is turned upside down inside, it releases certain chemicals in the body, and chemicals are feelings. Chemicals are something which extract the sensitivities of the heart. But people now, they come to temples, and when I observe people, they're just mechanically doing darshan. They've forgotten the way of doing darshan. Religion, when it dies, it becomes a ritual. The science in the rituals have been lost. And it is just my effort in this traveling to reawaken that science. That all these rituals which we had, there was something behind them. There was a scientific meaning behind them. I think I've taken up more than my time. So can we look at the statue, hold the statue inside, and at one point, can we turn the statue upside down? This requires conscious effort. We can't hold a thought for a single second. If we can hold a thought for a second, Patanjali calls that as dharana. If we can hold it for 10 seconds, he calls it as dhyana. And if we can hold it for 100 seconds, he calls it as samadhi. We can't hold that thought for a single second. This needs abhyas. To worship in a temple is not something mechanical. There's a great power behind it. There's a great intelligence behind it. And this goes for not only our temples, because some of the old temples, they are so powerful, so powerful. I remember one place we had gone outside Khajuraho, there was a Vaman temple. And that statue of Vaman, when you look at it and you suddenly hold it inside, you cannot imagine the amount of fear which it creates. Suddenly, the whole body is full of fear, the whole psyche is full of fear, and you're trembling over there. If you've held that statue properly, it'll be a fear which we have never experienced before. Life, the human or living things, they look for four things: ahar, nindra, bhai, and maithun. There are four things. Ahar is of three kinds: physical food, which we eat. More subtle than that is the air food which we breathe. And the most subtle food which we never work on is the impressions coming through the five senses. These are three kinds of food. It is the transformation of these three kinds of food which takes the Jeev into Shiva. Shiva is an inner tattva. And unless we are transforming these three kinds of food, the Jeev will never become Shiva. So the first is transformation of food. The second is transformation of fear. That is why I took ahar bhai. Ahar bhai. Can we transform fear? Now this statue, looking at this statue in a certain way, created fear. And can we hold that fear and can we transform that fear? The transformation of fear leads to an inner state which is called as Rudra. The transformation of food leads to an inner state which is called Shiva. The transformation of Bhai leads to an inner state which is called Rudra. And it passes through 11 stages. That is why we call them the 11 Rudras, the chief being Shiva. The Raudra. So, all animals, they go for Ahar, Bhai, Nindra and Maithun, but they cannot transform it. It is only this human species which can turn Jeev into Shiva. And that Jeev is lying within all of us. Every moment it is asking us, please make that effort to transform me into Shiva. And the way is through 3 kinds of food. Jiva to Shiva. Shiva, that which is auspicious. That which destroys all negativity. But we love negativity. We love to get angry on somebody. We love to cheat somebody. We love it when our ego expands. Oh, how we love it. And we keep on worshipping Shiva and we keep on living the opposite. This transformation of Jeev into Shiva. Somebody praises me. I feel the ego expanding, and suddenly I realize this is creating an inner desire for more praise. I'm asking for more praise, and that inner desire is going to lead me on the path of negativity. I transform the Jeev into Shiva, the one who destroys. I destroy at that moment. And in that, the Jeev becomes Shiva. 3 people are talking scandal. We love to talk scandal. And I know one secret about that person whom we are talking about, one special secret. And the inner ego wants to tell it. And in that ego gets a chocolate. It feels so satisfied. Oh, yes. And this Jeev is asking from inside. And you pause over there. You bring consciousness. You starve that. You fast that Jeev. You don't allow it to get its food of gratification. That is real fasting, not fasting of food. Real fasting. And in that the Jeev becomes Shiva. The Shiv becomes the destroyer of negativity. Each moment in our lives, this Jeev wants to become Shiva. And every moment we have an opportunity. This morning it was very cold and the inner Jeev says, I want to complain. I have to complain. Have we complained today? Or are we free of complaining? The best fasting is 1 day in a week, no complaining. Best fasting. Turn the Jeev into Shiva. Complaining takes the Jeev into lower consciousness. Turn it into Shiva. So, our lives are full of negativity. And it is this transformation of negativity which turns the Jeev into Shiva. That is the first step, Ahar. Second is Bhai, fear. We love to worry. One thing goes which we want, then something else takes its place and we love to worry about that. And that goes and something else takes its place. Right? And then if we don't have anything to worry about, we'll worry about whether Amitabh Bachchan is going to have a granddaughter or grandson. We love to worry. Worry. Psychological fear. Man was born with instinctive fear. It was given to him for protection. But now we have turned that fear into a ridiculous thing. What is going to happen tomorrow? It's the biggest disease in today's world. What is going to happen? Nobody lives, and living is now. In this moment, everybody's preparing for tomorrow. This inner monkey is chattering, what will I do tomorrow? Will I earn so much money tomorrow? Will the share market go up tomorrow? It's chattering all the time. For years I was in the stock market. One effort. If this guy talks that what is going to happen to the share, shut up. Shut up. It became a big training. A very, very powerful training. But We keep living in the future. Fear does not allow us. And this transformation of fear takes us into an inner state which is called as Rudra. Rudra comes from the root Rudayati, to cry, to be free of crying. Can you imagine a life where there is no pain and suffering? Not that the body will not suffer, not that the psyche will not suffer. People who are going to die are going to die tomorrow. People who are going to lose money will lose money. Suffering comes, but we don't suffer. We are free. Rudra, the one who is free of crying. Can we free ourselves of crying? Then we have transformed Bhai into something higher. Then the transformation of Nindra. We don't use our sleep. 1/3 of our lives we spend sleeping. And this transformation of Nindra creates within us a state called Shankara, just Shamkaroti, which brings peace and happiness everywhere. This transformation of sleep. And there are many kinds of sleep. One is the physical sleep which we have at night, and one is the sleep in which we are right now. All of us are just daydreaming. We love to daydream. This is psychological sleep. Not for a single moment are we awake. We live from 0 to 70, we haven't been awake for a single second. We're born in sleep, we die in sleep. This psychological sleep. And it's so pathetic these days. I go to schools to teach and I see young children whose eyes should be fresh, whose attention should be one-pointed, and they're sitting there and daydreaming, and I'm talking. They've lost the will to live. The first thing a child should be taught is how to hold attention. What is the power of attention? How to be in the present moment. And the beauty of it is that you go to schools which are ashram schools which should be teaching this. They are teaching new management practices. This is what the ashram was for. How to live in the present moment. Vivekananda said somewhere that bringing the mind into the state of one-pointedness is the most difficult thing in life. And if we spend our whole lives trying and still it does not come, still it is a life worth spent. It's a gamble, but still it is worth spent. So this transformation of Nindra within us will bring us into a state which is called Shankar. Shiva, Rudra, Shankar. Every moment we are in a state of relaxation. Shamkaroti, Shantkaroti. Every moment we are in a state of pause. Every moment we are in a state of inner beauty where everything is a song. That nothing from outside can ever disturb us again. Meru re dage jeno man na dage. Bhale ne bhangi pade bharmand. This Gujarati Sant, she's singing this song. If Mount Meru was to break, if the whole Brahman was to break, but if my mind does not move an inch, if not even a vibration comes in my mind, that the whole world has exploded. That is the state we should reach. Meru re dage jeno man na dage. Bhale ne bhangi pade brahmand. This inner state, Shankar, this is the state of Shankar. Shamkaroti. Everything is at peace. Everything is in harmony. Everything is in rhythm. Everything is in balance. Balance between human beings. Balance between a human and nature. And balance between the human and cosmos. Different levels of balance. And the final transformation is of Maithun, the sex energy. And that transformation of sex energy, Maithun, leads to an inner state which is called as Bhairav. It's so, why? Nobody asks questions. That if one sperm was needed to fertilize a woman's egg, why did God make so many million? In nature, nothing is in imbalance. Nothing is in imbalance. This is the most powerful energy we are born with. This is the most powerful energy we create out of the food we eat. A story in the Mahabharata where the Pandavas are staying in a Brahmin's house, and Bhim represents the sex energy within us, the sex center within us. And because they are Brahmins, they are asking for bhiksha, and they are living their lives. And when the bhiksha comes, Kunti used to make 2 parts of the bhiksha. One part would go to Bhim, the other part, the other 5 would have 4 brothers and Kunti. They would have. This is a deep science in the Mahabharata. Sometimes I feel there is nothing outside of the Mahabharata. That one person, Vyas, I don't know what kind of brain he was. He created this magnum opus in which all today's science, everything is hidden in that one book. The food we eat, 50% goes to maintenance of the body, 50% goes to making sex energy. And that sex energy, it can be transformed, it can be taken to the highest state. And that highest state is Bhairav, the state of Bhairav. So, for me, living my life, Shiva Tattva has these 4 meanings: transforming of food into Shiva, transforming of Bhai into Rudra, transforming of Nindra into Shankar, and transforming of sex into Bhairav. And if we can achieve that state, then we go back to where we have come from. We'll realize not only our inner mother and father, we'll realize the source from which we came from. That is the source where Ganga comes from. It is not a physical source. We can't find the source of the Ganga in the physical world. We may dig up the whole mountain, we'll still not find it. The source lies somewhere else. And that source is within all of us. And it is our duty to find that source. I'll stop over here. Thank you very much. You've been very patient. Thank you.